I'm going to jump to the advanced search very briefly. So if anybody's drove this in the past, it was a little clunky. It had lots of little drop down and spin boxes you had to deal with. So we tried to improve that functionality. We broke it down into a couple of steps. So step one is basically selecting your search parameters, which are essentially your filters. So rather than having to put in the use codes, which you can right here, you can hit the use code list. You can click whatever boxes you want to bring in, but we added these speed buttons that are already logically grouped by DOR groupings. So for example, if I just want multifamily less than 10 units, I can click that and it grabs the appropriate use codes right here. If I need to go back and edit something, I can go back in. You can see those are selected. I could add additional. I can take them away. So you can expand or contract that to however you want. You can reset it. You can see we broke out the vacants by our appropriate use codes as well. There's all your retail use codes. So we'll just do these again. They're accordions. You can see the little caret over here. So these all expand or contract. We keep them rolled up more so because especially if you're in if you're on a mobile phone, it can get a bit overwhelming. It's a lot of stuff moving around. But you can jump in here. Everything is pretty logically grouped. These are your physical characteristics. You can pick your minimum, maximum throughout. And these are filters. You can filter on waterfront or non-waterfront. You can pick extra features to add on. All of these things would be limiting your search. Here's your transactional information. So your sale type, your sales date, and price range, your owner information. So this is mostly locational here. But for example, if we want to come in here and we want Clearwater, start to filter down. There I'm in the city of Clearwater, tax district. You can do it also by TIF districts or zip codes. And you can filter by owner name. So if you wanted to find somebody, you knew somebody owned multiple parcels under a common ownership name, you could filter that way as well. And then values, if you want to put in R value ranges, if you wanted to limit for some reason that way, or if you wanted to limit your group based on exemptions, you can do that as well. So right now you can see this number down here, this total record count has been, every time I've added a search parameter, it's refined that number and tightened it. And you can see right here in this bottom thing, there we've applied 2 search parameters, but we have 22 output fields. These again, they expand. You can see there's all the use codes that are in. There's the tax districts that were pulled in. And you have speed buttons here at the bottom too in step 2, which this is defining what your output results are going to be. This advanced search is all designed to come out into Excel. So whichever of these you choose, you get different output fields. So these are already customized. So this would be a mailing address list. This is really, if you're putting sale parameters in, this is going to give you the best data fields so that you can see the residential sale information and the price per square foot. This would be for non-residential, so all your commercial transactions. This was one for multifamily because it includes a price per unit. And here's one for land sales that does the math differently. Obviously, that's price divided by the land area to get your price per square. So all those needed to be pre-baked in a little different way. So we did that just to help speed the process up. The property summary is a great one just to get the assessment information, the square footage information, and a nice little summary. It gives you 22 output fields related to the property. But all these, you can see these are changing down below. The ones in dark blue mean that's where some of the fields are selected from. If they're in light blue, none of those fields are presently included in this output field grouping. You can always add them. So for example, if I wanted to add an additional land characteristic, I want to know if it has a seawall, yes or no. So I just did that. It added that. We had 22, now we have 23. It added seawall to the grouping right there. So that will be in our Excel output. So you've got all those different options to select from. Here's your different output types. You can come out into CSV, but Excel is the default, and you also have JSON as another option. You can determine what you want as the primary sort for that initial download and whether you want it ascending or descending. Hit download. It's going to pull that down into Excel. One thing to note, on our site, the first time you drive it, you will likely get warnings for pop-ups. You want to make sure you allow our pop-ups to come through. Depending on the browser you're using, oftentimes it's up here in the right-hand corner, but in others it's down in the lower corners. So you need to watch for that. If you're not seeing anything, it's very likely because your pop-up blocker's on and grabbing it. So I'm going to open up that Excel file. So when this comes up, Excel's got security in it too. You'll want to enable editing. That will make the parcel numbers show up. To enable them, they're all hot linked. So that way, if you want to jump back to the parcel detail page on the website, you'll be able to do so by clicking those. As you come across, you'll see there's all those data fields we were talking about. Everything's nicely formatted. There's seawall that came in, yes or no. Got a link to the map and plat book and page. If there was one available, that would take you there. Again, this is a retail data set, so probably not the best to see plat book and page on. So let's jump back over. And one last thing, this is something that probably mostly municipalities may be interested in. You can generate a summary. So this is a step 4 optional thing. It is collapsed by default, but if you pop it open, you can hit generate summary, and it does a quick, give you some quick stats from just market, assessed value, and taxable value on that range of whatever those parameters were that I picked up in the search parameter. So it's showing a min, a median, and a max, as well as a total. So if you were curious what total market value might be versus taxable value in a certain jurisdiction with certain property types, that's a quick way to do it based on the last year's tax roll. And you can obviously print that out as well. So with that, I'm going to stop.